Hello everybody, Lonna Lamb here. Welcome to my studio. I am so excited to bring this project to you. It is one of my absolute favorite fall designs. So cute and adorable, so many bright colors, and it was just so much fun, and I hope you're going to have so much fun. It's a little bit longer video, but you know, you can stop it, pause it, back it up, whatever you need to do. I think you're going to enjoy this one. I'm going to be using DecoArt acrylic paints on this, and I cannot wait to show you how I painted it. It is so cute. So let's grab our paints and supplies and let's get painting. Alright, you guys, let's get busy on the background on this one. So I've got a wood board. This is like a tombstone shaped board. CD Wood has one that is about this exact same size here. I have applied multi-purpose sealer with my damp foam roller and a couple of coats of white paint. And now we're going to paint the background because I like to start out with a white base when I'm painting on wood or any surface basically. So I've got this color. We're going to give it a shot. Brilliant Purple for our background. And I'm going to see if I'm going to like this. I think it's a pretty color for a playful, fun fall background. And we're going to do some fun stuff to it. So we're going to put a couple of coats of this on here. It is very bright, let me tell you. It's a bright, bright purple. So hopefully my vision will work out because this is pretty bright. I think it's gonna be good. Gonna be good. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry and then I'm going to get a second coat on here when it's completely dry. Okay, my background, 2 coats on there. It's dry. So you can just go with your background just like this if you want, but I want to make it more fun and playful. So this is my swirl stencil that I have on my website, and I want to really play up this background and have fun with it. So I'm going to take my base color and some white. I think we'll do 2 base color and 1 white. I want to offload, tap just a little bit to get that off of there. And then you can tape your stencil down if you want to. Let's see if this color is going to show up pretty good. Oh, that's fun. So I'm just going to cover the entire stencil. It's okay if you miss some places. It doesn't have to have full coverage. It makes it more fun and playful, I think, when you don't try to be too perfect. Oh, fun, fun, fun. And so I'm just going to move my stencil around and fill up this background. I want to make sure I'm not laying my stencil over on top of what I've already done. And then I'm just creating... Let me go this way. That might be a little bit better. I don't want to go over my edge, so be aware of where your edge is so you don't accidentally go off of it. And a little bit more paint. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to cover the entire background. Okay, now we're going to get our line drawing on. And I'm just going to transfer it on with some gray graphite paper. And this particular surface I used to sell on my website, but since I don't do wood anymore, you can get one like this that is the exact same size at CD Wood. I will make sure I put the link in the packet. It's called their tombstone surface, and it's about 7 inches wide by a little over, or right at 11 inches tall, so 11 by 7. They have several different sizes, so this one's 11 by 7, but I'll put the link to the 11 by 7 in the packet for their surface so that you can get one that's just like this if you want this particular one. You don't have to paint on this particular surface, but if you want the exact surface, that's where you're going to get it from. So I'm going to use my random circle stencil and just create a, take my turquoise and some white. You know, you can kind of make the color whatever color you want it to be, or you can omit this. But I really wanted some fun teal in the background. I want this to be kind of light and subtle and kind of spooky type stuff back in here. And I'm just going to go around and put some circles in here and there. If I can tell where my line drawing is so I don't go onto my line drawing, and then I'm going to move my stencil so that I can create some circles in other places. All right, are we ready to get some nice details on this? I'm so excited. This is such a fun one. I am really loving it. So I'm going to use my angle brush. You can use a flat brush, whatever kind of brush you like to float with. I've got my base color of turquoise out. Now this is turquoise and white mix, so it's not you know, it's a lighter color than my actual turquoise here. So I'm going to try my first shading with this color. I want to keep this as playful as I can and, you know, not overwhelming with details. So let me put a few more places for shading in here, and let's see if this is even going to show up for our first one. I do want to kind of walk this first color out a little bit. Looks like it'll give us a good beginning to our shading color. So we're going to go next to all of our lines to create our shadowy areas. Just corner loading my brush here. Let me get a little bit more paint here. Let's do a little bit here. My line is a little over. It needs to be, you know, like coming up from that place right there. And let's see, we're gonna have a little bit here. That'd be like that one going all the way up, but we don't have to make a solid line going all the way up, so don't feel like you have to do that. If you want to, you certainly can. Give it that little bit more stuff going on. And we can put a little bit here. And I have to do my outer edges as well. Looks like I have a line coming down here and one here, and we'll have to go around that pumpkin. I'm going to go under the mouth. I'm really thinking these projects, these pumpkins will be pretty quick. Under the eyebrows. We're going to go around the eyes, or under the eyes, I guess. Get a little bit of moisture in my brush. And we'll go around this one. Oh, it's looking cute. I'm going to go along, let's see. I do want my outside edges to be probably dark. I'm going to go around my leaves right now while I think about how I want to do those outside edges. So a little shadow around our leaves. We'll probably put a stem on these ones that are on top. So this little area down here will probably be all shaded, you know, and we'll probably have some of our grasses that are just covering that up anyway, so. And also, as you add your shading here, you can reshape your leaves if they're, you know, not shaped like you want them to be. Okay, so on the inside of the eyes, let me look at my line drawing. We've got like, I'll just bring my line drawing in here. I've drawn these little sections here, which would be the thick part of the inside of the thing. So I'll draw a line here just for your benefit, maybe. And then I had one on here. Remember that we're making this playful, so we're not worrying about a lot of things with this. So this area right here will be a little bit lighter, but we are actually probably going to put black in here. Just to make it a little more fun. So I'm just going to go underneath this pumpkin here. And I'm going to get a little bit more moisture in my brush because I want that to come out a little bit. Just kind of walk it and let it kind of fade out into the pumpkin there. Give a little bit of shadow underneath that. Excuse me. And I think I want to go a little bit higher on the eyes here. Just a little bit, and then we're going to, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do the outside edges here with this color. Okay, that looks pretty good. So originally I'm going to highlight that in there, but I may end up shading it. Okay, so that is our first shading on there. That looks like we're developing a super cute little pumpkin guy here. So now we want to deepen, and the other color that I have out is Payne's Gray. So I'm going to mix my Payne's Gray with my turquoise blue and get a slightly darker value so that I can go into my deep places for that darker color, you know, like in the little V areas, you know, places where it's going to be more shadowed. That's where we want to put this color so we can begin to make this pumpkin come alive here. I'm going to brush mix those two colors, the turquoise and the Payne's Gray. I just did a 1-to-1 mix here. And let's see if this is going to be a dark enough color. After I get this color in here, I'm going to go and erase some of my lines. I don't want my color to be too black, you know, too dark, but it's got to be dark enough that we can see it. So I'm going to add another Payne's Gray in here. And then I'm just going to put that in there. So yeah, I like that mix much better. A 2-to-1 mix. 2 Payne's Gray, 1 turquoise blue. So 1, 2, mix, mix, mix. It's going to get us almost a blue-gray color. And we're going to go into our dark places. Use that water edge of your brush to smooth out. So we're creating our little shadow, deepest shadow areas. Maybe under there it's a little more shadowy. You don't have to do the full length underneath that pumpkin, but you can. So, you know, don't feel like covering that whole area is what you need to do, but I don't want it to look like dots. So maybe I'll just do the whole length, because looking in the camera shot, it looked like it was very dotty, you know, like it was a dotted line there. I don't want to have that. Okay, up here will be a shadowy place, And I still might have to come in with just some Payne's Gray in a couple of places. All right, so we're going to take this color, we'll put a little bit around our leaves in those, maybe the shadowy places of the leaves, the deepest areas. This is going to be a V or a triangle, so it's going to have to be darker there. See if I can get you in a little bit closer without getting you off camera, which I am notorious for. All right, down in here, we want some darker in there. Next to this leaf here. Mix a little bit more here. Because this needs to be darker here. These are all these V's or triangles here, okay? We'll go a little bit around this leaf. Okay, so this will be a darker area down in there and down in here. I'm taking the water edge and just softly making sure I blend that out so it doesn't create no hard starts and stops on there. Those are the kind of things we definitely want to avoid. Okay, so I'm going to go kind of in the middle of that first highlight. I'm up on the tippy toe, just giving a little bit of shadow in the middle of those areas where I've already put some shading in, just in the middle parts of those. It's going to give us a little bit more depth in here. I'm not doing the entire length of what I just did, okay? That's pretty important. We'll just go underneath the eyes here. A little bit more water in my brush. Okay, when we highlight there, we'll try to make that not such a straight line. We'll give it a little bit of fun stuff in there. Okay, so that has our second shading on there, and I think I will go out on the outer edges and kiss a little bit of this. Just lightly. Okay, that's got our shading for there. We probably will have to come back with just Payne's Gray. I want to tuck the tiniest bit of Payne's Gray, like right in those little areas there, right down here, maybe right down here, just a little tiny tuck of that color. But for now, we're going to move on to our highlighting. We're going to need some white to highlight, and I'm going to dry brush my highlights. I think that's going to give this pumpkin a little bit more fun look. Okay, so for dry brushing on here, I'm going to just use a filbert brush. You can use it damp or you can use it dry, whichever way you like to do your dry brushing. Either way will be just fine. I am going to dampen my brush, and then I am going to get all of the moisture that I can out of it, okay? All right, so it's damp, the bristles are like awake. I'm gonna load my brush with white and then just kind of offload some of it because I don't want to be putting a ton of paint down for my first. I just want a little bit. Okay, we're going to dry brush in through the middle, and I'm just tickling the very tips of this. If you prefer to use your brush dry, then you can certainly use it dry. But I do want to shape follow my sections and get some highlights in through my pumpkin. I think I might need to shade down here on this edge, so I will come back and do that. Okay, now I'm giving more pressure to my brush because I can tell there's not much paint left in it. So I can scrub just a little bit harder in some of these areas. I do want to put a little bit on those sections there, so I'm going to get a little bit in my brush and remove it. I'm going to stay up on the tippy toe here and see if I'm even going to like it like this. I don't know if I'm going to like it. I'm still going to have to do some shading on that section somewhere, but I might want to just make it a shaded section. Okay, so I've got a little bit more in my brush. I don't want to get it on my shadows. That's why I want to use a filbert brush, because I can stay up on the tip of this filbert brush and alright, that's some fun first little highlights on there. That was probably technically 2 times doing it because I had loaded it for those eyes, so I had a little bit more paint in there and just went over some of my areas again. So I want to brighten those areas one more time. I'm going to load my brush again and offload. Okay, again, I'm just going to use the tips of my brush because I don't know how much paint is in here. I don't want to go in with a lot of force and then have such bold areas that, you know, I've got to try and remove it and just start all over. We don't want to do that. So I'm just putting this, you know how I put the darker shading in the center of that shading? So I'm just doing the same thing with the highlight. I'm just kind of keeping it kind of concentrated more in those center areas where I created some. I'm going to actually have to get a little bit more on my brush for the inside of the eye here. Okay, that was a lot. And put some in there. Once we get some shading on there and we get our eye actually painted in with black, it will be super cute. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. I did it 3 times, you know, getting a smaller and smaller area with each time that I did it, okay? We can dry brush a little bit of some of our other colors on here, like the purple in the background, I think would be really nice. So I'm going to put some of that out, and I'm going to try and remove all of the paint out of my brush that I can. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of squeeze a lot of that white out of there. I just don't feel like I need to go get another brush. You know, there's not a whole lot of paint in this brush. So I'm going to load up with some purple. That's our background color. And then I'm going to offload. Now this is a bold color, so I really want to make sure I don't have a ton of this on my brush. You see, I'm really working it out so that it's not a huge amount of paint. Excuse me. Alright, so let's just dry brush or dry rub, whatever you want to call it. A few places on here. I think that's going to be really fun for this guy. Wherever you want to put it. Just, you know, pick some places. It doesn't matter. It's your pumpkin. Okay, I'm running out of paint. Excuse me. So I want to get a little bit more on my brush and work it off. I want light colors when I go to my surface, so I don't want a ton of paint. Let's put a little bit here. Very lightly applying this color. Okay, that looks like a good amount of places there, so I'm going to go back over a couple of them and just in the centers of them, like we did the white, and try and give them a little bit more pop of color. Oh, how fun is that? How fun is that? Let's put a little bit down here. We may end up not seeing this down here, you know, because of the grasses that are going to go underneath. I am going to shade this bottom area here real quick. Payne's Gray seems like it's already got a skim of dryness on it. And again, I may not see any of this down here once, you know, we put our grasses, but just in case, let's kind of get that taken care of. Oh, he's looking so cute. I think I'm going to stick with this brush and come in here and do a little, I'm very lightly up on that very tippy toe. And we'll give a little bit of shadow in there. This is that Payne's Gray mix. I just went straight to that mix because this is a really tight area in here. That looks pretty good. Okay, so we've got our shading, our highlighting. I'm going to rinse this brush out. I think I've got the purple on there like I like it. And we're going to get some color in on the eyes. And some highlights and stuff going there. Okay, before I do the inside of the eyes and the mouth, I do want to go in here and just tuck a little bit of just straight Payne's Gray into these areas here. And I seriously have like paint on that many bristles. That's all I have it. I want to get it into these dark valleys or V's or triangles. I think that makes just a huge difference in the finishing of a painting. I so love the aspect of decorative painting where you just take a little bit of paint and how you place it and the layers and all that stuff. It just totally brings a piece to life, and it is just so amazing. After I get my eyes painted in, I'm going to come in and erase all my chalk lines. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit right in the very center of the mouth and right in the very center under the eye. And I think that's probably pretty good. We got all of our little triangles or V's. We got some darkness tucked in there. And that looks pretty good. A little bit more up here because this is a triangle right here. Get off of my light colored pumpkin there. Alright, I think we're looking pretty good. Let's get our eyes and our mouth painted in now. Oh, that is looking so good. So my initial idea was all of the eyes and mouths would be painted black. I don't know if that's going to be too stark on this project or not. I'm trying to decide if I want to paint the glasses black to bring that, you know, black in somewhere else. We can shade around the outside with black, but then I'm thinking, well, maybe Payne's Gray will work. But Payne's Gray is a little bit transparent. So, you know, it's not going to give me the total look that I would like to have. So I think what I'm going to do is take my black and my Payne's Gray, and I'm going to mix them. I'm going to do 2 Payne's Gray and 1 black because black is very overpowering. I don't know if this will still even look like Payne's Gray or if it's going to look like black. I don't know. And I'm going to have to go to a smaller brush. I can't get in that space with that big brush. I think I'll just move over to my round brush and use it. So 1 black and 2 Payne's Gray. Which is going to make it not pure black. And I don't know that my eyes are going to be shaped the same at all. So, you know, if you're concerned about that, then you definitely want to use some kind of template to put your eyes on. That one's a little bit taller than that one. So I don't know if I can adjust this one and make it a little bit taller without totally changing the shape of it. They're kind of egg-shaped, I guess. Kind of egg-shaped in there. Okay, so this one, I feel like the section over here is incredibly fat, so I'm going to take this one and bring it over so that that side is not so wide. Alright, then we're going to do the mouth, 1 black, 2 Payne's gray. Try not to go outside your lines so you're not painting over your shadows, and then, you know, you'll have to paint your shadows in all over again. And then the eyebrows, you know, they're just kind of a weird shape. You know, whatever shape you want your eyebrows to be, seriously. It's gonna be okay. They're just eyebrows. Just eyebrows. So now I feel like I need to shade more on the, or actually I think I just need to make that dark in there with the Payne's Gray and Turquoise. I feel like that light color is too bright, so Turquoise, Payne's Gray, 2 Payne's Gray. And let me see how this is going to look. I may hate it. And I'll still probably put a highlight on this. Okay, that looks better. Alright, so I want this to get dry because now I want to erase all of my graphite lines. I'm going to have to apply a second coat in here on the mouth and the eyes when they're dry, because as you can see there is not solid coverage right there. But I need to get this dry and then erase my lines off of here. Want to smear any wet paint. And this will help you also see where maybe you need to add more shading or add more highlight or bring a line out more. Things like that. If you get paint over your lines, they're not going to erase. So don't keep trying to erase a line that you feel like should come off, because it's got any kind of paint on it. It is not coming off, I'm telling you, at all. And I feel like I need to shape that a little bit right there. Although it could be a unique little line on this pumpkin, I think I might just leave it. Okay, second coat, get my eraser shavings off, second coat on my eyes, mouth, eyebrows, and then we're going to add our finishing details. Okay, I'm drawing my little eyes on here, and I'm going to paint them in with white. I'll probably take a couple of coats, maybe 3. I'm painting over a very dark color here. Okay, now I want to take the white in my brush and add some turquoise to it. and make it an equal mix in my brush. I might have to do it 2 to 1. 2 whites and 1 blue. Let's do that. We're going to add a little highlight up here, top of the eyebrows. We're not going to see much of this first one. We're going to go on the outside edge here of our eyes. A little bit down here. On top of the mouth. Okay. I'm going to rinse my brush so that I can put a second layer on my white in my eyes, and I want to put some white here. So we're going to take our white and repeat here. I'm going to put a little bit of a highlight up here. Detail brush would probably work well here. I don't want it to get into my eyebrow. Oh, I feel like it's in there and I can't get it off. There we go. This is just straight white now. I'm going to have to do a third coat on my eye. Well, that feels a little like I had water in my brush. A little bit there. I'm going to do a little bit out here. I'm going to put some through here. Right there. I'm just doing the center of those little highlights that I put on there. And a little bit here. Okay, let me dry those eyes so I can repeat those eyes. Okay, there he is. He's all done. Super cute. Super cute, super cute. I love him. I love him. You can add more highlight inside here if you want by a little, a little stroke here, or, down at the bottom if you want highlight here, or just next to that. Wherever you want to add a additional highlight, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm not going to increase anything there except maybe I did not ever highlight next to my lines, and they do have to be highlighted. So I'm just going to take my white, and that's where I can fix this area. And it's just a dry brush of some white right next to our shaded area. And you can repeat this, obviously. All of our little lines that were on here need a little bit of some highlight on them. Okay? And then just repeat where you want it to punch up a little bit. I always do it just in the center. I never do the full highlight or shading. Okay, I think I got them all. There we go. He is done. He's done. Super cute. Super, super cute. Love him. Love him. Okay. Once we get all of our other cute guys done, oh, this is going to be so adorable. I am loving this. Okay, let's see if we can make this middle guy super cute without making him too dark. That's my worry. He's going to become too dark. I'm going to take my base color and mix a little bit of some light cinnamon in there. It's going to give me like a pinkish tan, I think. and we'll make this our first shading color. And we're going to do just like we did down there. We're going to find our you know, our places, and you can have this come all the way through the glasses there if you want the section to be an entire section. So we'll just follow that curve down, create an entire section there. So we're doing 1 almondine, and actually it's 2 of the base color and 1 of that light cinnamon. I'm going to go through the glasses, which is going to erase that line there and through the eye, but you know, we'll put all that back in there. And this color, I want it to come out a little bit. This guy doesn't have a lot of sections in him, but okay, we're going to bring a section up here, but I'm just going to take it up part way like we did that one. So he's just got those 3 sections. He's not overly detailed. We'll come out here along the outside edge. I do want you to just go through your other lines. If you need to transfer them back on, you sure can, but let's not try to go around them. I think that makes things a little difficult. Just for now, we're going through everything, so just take it through. Okay, we're going to go underneath this other pumpkin here, which won't have quite as big of a shadow as we had on our other pumpkin. Cute! Let's go under his cute mouth. We'll go under his eyes if you can still tell where they're at. And we'll put a little shadow underneath his glasses, I think. And we'll have to do that shadow a little bit on the inside, underneath the frames. I can still see my lines, so I'm good. He looks kind of silly right now, but he will look good when we're done. I'm going to create a little shadow right here on the top edge of the glasses. Alright, need some moisture. And a little bit inside here. His glasses are round, so we want to make sure we keep them kind of round shaped, although we can take care of that when we add our frames on here. Alright, let's get a little bit of extra shadow under here. Okay, so for our first shading, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. If you want to give him another dip here, I don't think it's gonna, matter. He's a cute pumpkin no matter how you paint him. So that's our first shading. That was 2 of our base color and 1 light cinnamon. Go over all of your areas, and now we're going to deepen some of our shadings. I think this guy might go a little bit faster than this guy. We'll see. Okay, we got our first shading on there, so now we're going to darken a little bit like we did down here. I'm going to do an equal mix of these 2 colors now and get that more dark. If it doesn't appear darker than your first, then put a little bit more of that cinnamon in there. And we're gonna do, I need a little bit more cinnamon. Might have to be a 3-to-1 mix here. 3 cinnamon and 1 of our almondine. Use that water edge to push that paint back, you know, so it's not taking over our pumpkin. So we're going to do our sections in the middle, just like we did down below. Do in the center here. Go under our nose piece here, under the glasses, inside the glasses, a little bit here, and then underneath this pumpkin. Get this little triangle here a little bit darker. Okay, and then the outside edges, I'll just kind of lightly put some in the center. We may not need a third shading here, I don't know. I gotta put some darker here because this is one of those little V areas or triangle areas. Okay. I know it's kind of hard to see everything with the, oh, I forgot to do underneath the eyes. Let's put, or did I? I don't know if I went under the eyes or not. Okay. We're going to start adding some highlights on here now. To see if we want to even deepen up. I know I'm going to have to deepen up there. It needs to be a little bit darker, but I don't know about down here on the pumpkin. We'll see after we get our highlights on here. Again, we're going to take that filbert brush and put some white in it and then offload. I want to offload onto a dry brush. Alright, and then we're just going to start adding some dry brush in here. Start out light, easy, soft. Need a little bit of highlight in this one over here. I don't want it to be all dark. Okay, so you know I'm going to repeat that a couple of times on here. This up here needs a little bit more. Alright, I'm going to start here in the middle because that's where I started before. I'm very, very lightly applying this paint. I'm gonna go over here and get some of this kind of damp paint that's on my paper towel. I want this guy to be more more of a whiter pumpkin. White, not wide. Whiter pumpkin, so I'm going to get a little bit more white. Looks like an old man pumpkin right now. I'm hoping when we get those glasses done, he's going to look super cute. Alright, I'm going to go with the white one more time. This will be my third time. And generally I get smaller with my highlights, but I think on this one, because I want this pumpkin to be more white, I'm not going to take this white smaller in each section. He definitely looks like an old pumpkin. Almost looks like a turtle right now, I'm telling you. Okay, because my dry brushing got really wide and kind of wild. I'm going to touch up some of my shadows on here real quick with that mix. Take some of this darker down just a touch. I think he was getting a little bit too dark. So we might just go with 2 layers of that original mix so that we don't get too dark and then just come back and do add a little bit of that brown in there to darken things up. He does need to get a little bit lighter. That helped quite a bit because his shading was way too dark. Okay. Alright, let's add some highlights on those sections. I think that's going to help that a lot. Okay, let's do some white. We're going to do white down here. Brighten up this lower edge. I want to stay off of my blue pumpkin. I don't need that to go all that way up there. Okay, I want to go ahead and put some of this above our mouth, although I'm not really sure if my mouth shape is. It's very similar to that one. I haven't painted my eye in yet, so maybe I'll just wait to do that after I get that in. Okay, a little bit darkening up here, so we're going to do an equal mix now. And just tuck this in. I might have to do it 2 to 1. Get that a little bit darker. I don't want to go straight light cinnamon, so just kind of add a little bit of your base color to get it a little bit lighter than what it comes out of the bottle. I just want to tuck some of this in, like we did down there in our shadow V areas. Okay, that looks really cute. I think we'll go ahead and paint his eyes in because they are the same color. I'm gonna come back in and brighten up some of my highlight. Got a little bit too solid there, so I think I'm gonna break that up with a little bit of our base color here. Bit of white here. I gotta shape that a little bit better. All right, let's go ahead and paint in the eyes and the mouth. Get that going, and then that'll determine where our bolder highlights need to go. And then we're gonna dry brush some other color on this one. Maybe we'll bring some blue into this one. Because, you know, it's on top of the blue. Maybe we'll bring some orange into it. I don't know. We're going to bring some color into that somewhere. But let's get our mouth and eyes painted in. Same color that we did down here, the mix of Payne's Gray and Lamp Black. 2 Payne's Gray, 1 Lamp Black. Probably will take a couple of coats to do it. Okay, I went ahead and got my eyes and mouth painted in. Now on my line drawing, on this one here, I have little smile lines. You can leave them off if it's not a detail that you want to add. Just some cute little smiley lines. Alright, let's add some highlight on top of this stuff, and then we're going to dry brush some color on here. This is just white. Touch wide there. Okay. You know, on the glasses, I'm really a little bit torn what color I want to paint them because I really want them to be bright and playful and fun. So I've got a color in mind. I just don't know how well it's going to work. Okay, I'm going to go back underneath the eyes with some shading. Just kind of darken that up a little bit. I'm just using this round brush, but I want to try and kind of pull that out with my finger so it doesn't just create a line. Okay. He needs more highlight on his sections, I think, but I think first we're going to add some color onto him. I'm going to tell you the color I'm thinking about using for his glasses, Fuchsia Pop, and then maybe put some dots or some triangles on it, make it more fun. You know, even the swirls like we got in the background, I could put some swirls on his glasses, make his glasses more fun, or her glasses, it could be her. But first I'm going to dry brush some color on there. I think, what color did I base this one? I'm going to put some of my base color for this one out, and then I've got the base color for this one. I'm not really sure which way I want to go here. I think I might do both colors. So I'm going to take the blue and load it in my brush and then offload it. Remember, we're doing dry brushing, so we want light stuff here. So we're going to put some colors on here. You know, wherever, doesn't matter. Just throw some in there. Okay, we do want to do it a couple of times, so I'm going to go back over. Okay, I'm going to rinse this brush and remove the moisture out of it. Make sure my ferrule isn't wet, and then I'm going to go with the orange that we used up here and maybe put some of this orange on this pumpkin. I don't know if I'm going to like the orange, to be honest with you, because of the color that I want to put on the glasses. I'm really thinking the orange might kind of take away from it. Yeah, I think I'll leave the orange off. So I'm just gonna stick with that blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 sections of blue on here. I'm just gonna remove that orange that I just put on, and maybe do a little bit more blue. Maybe put some in here. That's pretty wet. I have too much moisture in my brush. Alright, that looks pretty good for that. Okay, so now I want to kind of brighten up some of the highlights with some white. Just like we did down there after we did all of our dry brushing on it. I'm probably going to highlight some more inside the glasses, maybe. I feel like I have too much water in my brush here. We can bring a little bit of reflective highlight out here on our edges. Might do that down here as well. Okay, just a little kiss of a highlight. I'm going to repeat because it's already faded down in there, and man, I'm making a mess here. And that's why we keep a damp brush. We can narrow our paint lines and remove anything that we don't want on here. Up on the tippy toe, go to a detail brush. If you cannot stay up on the tiptoe of a 1 or a 2 round, then definitely move to a detail brush where you have a little bit more control. Okay, I'll go down here and put a little bit more on these. I feel like I have a wild hair on this brush. I'm going to have to trim that off. Okay. All right, let's do our glasses. I really want to make these fun. Okay, let's try this pink for our glasses. Now, this pink is transparent, so our first coat is going to be 2 of this pink and 1 white to get us started, and then we'll come back with just the pink. But because it's transparent, we can't start with just the straight out of the bottle paint. But we do want to get to that bright pink. Make it a little bit wider down here so that my is the same width. I may have to adjust my shading on that I put on these. Want to try and shape the glasses as close to the same as possible, so you might have to do this mix a second time if your paint is still a little bit on the transparent side. Get this nose piece shaped a little bit better here. Which I'm not doing a very good job of. Okay. Well, it looks pretty bad, I think. Alright, that's probably as close as I'm going to get them to each other. So I'm going to get this layer dry. And then I'm going to erase my graphite lines, because erasing any lines that are left is really going to help you see what areas are not painted in, what may need some additional shading where you missed some areas, and all that stuff. So dry it, erase your lines, and see if you need to adjust your shading. I do probably need to adjust a little bit underneath the glasses, but I'm still going to wait on that just to see if, you know, it works out. Okay, so I got my base color on there with that mix of white and fuchsia pop, and now I have applied 2 coats of a thinner layer of this paint by adding some water to it. Okay, I've put 2 on there. I'm going to add a 3rd one because I want to make sure this pink is bright and bold. And I just add a little bit of water to it, gives it a nice fluid consistency. And it just kind of puts a little glaze on top of that pink so we can get it up to that bright, bright pink. So this will be my 3rd time applying this thinner layer of paint. And I just thinned it down with some water. Just take your time, there's no rush. Super cute though. Okay, so now the glasses need to get completely dry before we add some fun little stuff onto these glasses. Oh, so cute! Okay, you guys, I want to make the lenses on these glasses a little more fun. So I've got my stylus. It's got a pretty small end on it and one that's just slightly bigger. I want to put dots on these glasses. I want to keep it concentrated most at the top and just bring a few that come down a little bit into this area. So we're going to use our blue, our purple, and some white to create these dots on here. So just kind of have fun with it and start putting some dots in here. Now you know you can dot 2 or 3 times. Your dots will get smaller with each one, but that's okay. We're going to do these little corner pieces as well. So we're just going to start by putting a few blue ones in here. And I do want to bring a couple down into the glasses a little bit, not too much. Okay, so that's with blue. Okay, I'm going to go into my purple and do it next. And that purple's not going to show up, so I think I'm going to have to mix it with some white. So let me make a little mix of purple and white here. I'll just do an equal mix. That will make a light purple. Fresh paint is best when you're making dots. I'm not sure that white paint is super fresh, so we'll see how well it dots. I don't want it to look white is the thing, because we're going to add some white dots on here. So but that purple was too dark. Oops, no paint. Dipping into my light purple and then dipping into my straight out of the bottle purple. It's kind of giving it a little two-tone. That way, you know, we can definitely tell it's purple and not be wondering what color it is. I might mix some pink and white together and do some pink ones. We'll see. All right, let's do some white ones on here. I really want the kind of the top of the lenses to be a little filled up. Okay, that was a big bold white one there. And then I can do a few blue ones that are mixed with some white to get a lighter blue. I think that would be pretty. I might mix some of my orange with some white. I don't know. I thought orange would not go, although pink and orange do complement each other. Make sure you're just staying on the lenses and not getting off of the lenses. Oh, those are looking so cute. Okay, let me see if I can, if this, I don't know, this light pink might be too much. I'm not sure we can tell it's light pink, but we could put some green ones on here because we're going to put some green in our leaves, but I'm kind of liking just that with the turquoise, the white, the purple. I did just a few of the pink and white, which we base coated this in before we added the bright pink on top. But I think I'm kind of liking just those colors on there. How fun, how fun, how fun. Okay, so all these dots need to get dry now. Okay, so those dots all need to get dry, but I can see that I need to darken my shading underneath my glasses a little bit. So I'm going to take that cinnamon and our base color mix and maybe just slightly darken it. I don't want it to get too overly dark. And we're going to go, I might need to be just a touch darker. Just a little bit under there and a little bit inside here. Okay, just creating those little shadow areas. We'll go up here underneath the nose piece. I don't totally ruin that shape. And so now we just got to highlight on our glasses and, you know, dry brush a little bit across to make it look like there's actually lenses in it. Ooh, getting some thunder here. It's a rainy day. Would be a good jammy day, but got things to do. And then our grandson has a program tonight. It's going to be a rain all day and all night. Tomorrow is storms. Okay, so now we're just going to create some highlights on our glasses. First, I want to highlight on the frames with my white. I'm going to create a highlight down here. This is with just white. We'll have to repeat this. I'm going to thin this one down. It got a little wide. Okay, let's put some on the top edge. We'll need some up here. I'm not going to shade on these glasses on the frames. I'm just going to keep them, you know, a little more fun. We can highlight out here and out here. So we've got some fun little highlights going here. We just want to make those frames look shiny. Okay, all of those highlights will have to be repeated, but they will be repeated in the center part. You know, so it goes from here to here. We'll go from here to here, and then we'll put just a bright white one in the very center. So each layer gets smaller as we go. So I'll start down here. I want to make sure they're dry in the center. In the center, 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 center. We're not completely filling in that whole stroke that we did, okay? Oh, that one I just about did. This is what makes our highlights pop. This is what makes things look like they are really shiny, okay? All right, one more time. I'm going to do just a little bit in the very center. Make sure your layers are dry. I'm not sure mine are 100% dry. So some of these smaller ones will maybe just get a little dot in them. Just right in the very center. This is such a small amount. You can go to a detail brush, but I find if I use the same size brush for each layer that it works out a little bit better. All right, so let's dry brush across our lenses. I'm just going to use, I think I'll use a flat brush, or maybe I'll use that filbert I've been dry brushing with. We'll see how that works. Okay, so we're going to take our filbert or whatever brush you want to use. I'm going to use a filbert. And again, we're going to load it with some white paint. Offload. We don't want a whole lot on here. And we're going to dry brush. Oh, I need a little bit more paint than that in my brush. Dry brush. Across our lenses. I'm up on the tip of these bristles. Okay, I don't like this one. This one got incredibly fat, so I'm going to remove some of it. Keep it a little lighter. This one got a little fat. It's not very dark either. So I'm just going to go over some of these with my round brush and create some highlights on those lenses. I think I need to remove a couple. I might remove the one that goes right over the eye. Most of it anyway. Probably have to paint my eye back in. Okay, that looks much better. I'm going to paint my eye back in, and then this one's going to be done. I think it looks pretty good. You know, any shading that you need to touch up at this point would be a good idea. So I'm just going to touch up the eye where I erased that. And that little guy is going to be done. I think he looks super cute. Love him. Okay, you guys, we're going to move on to the orange pumpkin. But these two are adorable. Let's see if we can make this orange one as adorable. Okay, so I think I want to maybe work on the stem first and just finish it out. So we're just going to create some lines in our stem and then a little bit of shading and highlighting. We're not going to get overly detailed with this stem. So I'm going to take that cinnamon color that I used down here for shading, and let me look at my pattern. I just have some lines that are kind of coming around this stem. And you can do as many as you want. And just put some cute little stems in there. I'm going to adjust this line that I drew here. It's not quite where I want it to be. All right, so we did those lines with some, I just flung my brush into my paint. So let me clean that off because that's a lot of paint. All right, so we're gonna go with some light color now. I'm gonna use my small detail brush, and we're gonna go down to some of the base color that we used here on this one, the almondine, and we'll put some lighter lines in between. Please don't worry about making these neat or getting too caught up in all the look. Okay, we're gonna add some detail on here, you know, some shading on here, and get this looking good. Okay. Now we want to shade at the base of it, and we're going to take that color that we made the lines with. You do want to make sure that your paint is dry before you start, and I've gone down to a 1/4 inch angle brush now, and we're going to put some little shading down at the bottom there. We've got a little kind of bend in this one here. So I want to put some shading in through here just by kind of tapping some that comes across a little bit. We'll be darkening that. And then I want it to be shaded up here at the top a little bit. We'll add some highlights in there. I'm going to dry that because I definitely want to darken that. And I don't really want to add black into my color palette, but I might add a little bit of Payne's Gray in with that brown just to get that a little bit darker. Just a little kiss of that Payne's Gray will make that a little bit darker of a dirty brown, I guess I should say. And we'll go back here again. And in the center, see, I'm just tapping it in. I'm going to flip my brush so that have my brush like this. Now I'm going to flip it over so the toe of my brush is right there, so I can just tap a little bit more in that little bend area. Okay? And then a little bit up here just on that edge there, and that's going to get us some shadowy areas. Okay, let's add some highlights on there, and we might put a touch of green on this just to give it that green look. I'm going to take my white and my almondine and equally mix them together, and we'll create a highlight edge. I'm up on the very tippy toe of this brush. Don't want any hard starting and stop lines there. And then we'll come over here and put some through here. Kind of next to that where we created that little fold in it. Now this is a pretty light color here, so we still should be able to see our lines that we put in there. Super cute. I need to define that edge just a little bit there. But that might have been just a touch too much. Put a little bit of that dark back in there. Okay. All right, I think I want to try and put just a kiss of green in there. This is a very simple little project. So instead of dry brushing it on there, we're just going to put a little float of green in there. Okay, that's going to finish the stem. Pretty easy. Okay, let's work on the pumpkin here. I'm going to go with some burnt orange for my shading color and see if this is going to show up on here. Let's see. Not too much, so let's mix some of that cinnamon color in there. I'm going to keep this orange. So that's just an equal mix there. I don't want this little guy to become dirty looking, so I don't want to get too much of that cinnamon in there, but I did need to darken my orange a little bit. We'll go under the eyes and mouth. This guy shouldn't take too awful long. He should be a pretty quick one. Okay, and this little piece back here is kind of in the shadow, so we'll put some of our shading color back in there. So that's our first shading, which is not overly dark, but still is super cute. I'm going to take this shading color and inside the eyes down here, I want to put a little bit of this color like right through here. Create just a darker, like we did on the blue one, we created that darker edge there. So I want to create this darker edge here. Okay, I know those shadows aren't showing up a ton, but we are going to get ready to repeat them. So we'll get that mix again. We're just going to repeat with the same colors here. I got one here I missed because I didn't have a line there. And this is probably going to get us a good shading on ours. So we'll just have some of them valley areas to come back in and take care of, which I need to make sure I get some shading down in these areas. There's no leaf coming over this one, but I do want a little bit of shading out here. I'm just going to do a little bit at the top and bottom, keep it open on the side over here. I think I'll put my reflective lights in those areas. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way to the top because the top needs to be highlighted. So let me go around my eyes again. Well, I don't know if you can hear the thunder on the video, but it's going to town out there. Okay, so that has got our shading done. I just did it twice with the exact same color because I don't want our pumpkin to turn overly dirty. So yeah, I think we're going to just do it twice with that color. I will come back and add probably just the cinnamon in a few key places, but they are going to be very minor on this one. Okay, I've got my lines erased on there, mostly. Some of them we can still see. But I need to paint this underneath of the eye. I think what I want to do is take the base color, which is a lighter orange than what we did our shading with, and add a little bit of that brownish color in there. Maybe it won't be exactly like. I might have to make these lighter just so they show up. So, instead of making them dark. So I'm going to have to play around with these a little bit. Let's see what I can come up with here. I think I'm going to use the burnt orange that I shaded with and add some cad yellow to it. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, let's work on some highlights here and add some color. I think first I'm going to dry brush some color in here. He's a pretty dark pumpkin, so we want to lighten him up a little bit. So I'm going to take the yellow and some white and maybe just a touch of that base color. I'm going to see how well this is going to highlight. It may not be what I'm looking for. We can always wash over this with some of our base color after we get some highlights in here. Not getting a lot of that yellow to show up, so I'm going to just load my brush with the cadmium yellow and try and get some yellow in here. I mean, there's still a little bit of that orange in my brush, but cad yellow is definitely going to be the way to go here. wipe my brush out, make sure I can get all of that orange out. And I think I'll mix some cad yellow and white this time. You can see how much lighter it is. So first we started with, well, I started with that orange and yellow mix, but it was too dull. It just blended in, so I wiped my brush and just got cad yellow. So now I've got cad yellow and a little white in my brush. And I'm gonna start lightening up. And I'm just very gently rubbing this brush on here. Okay, we can come back in and wash over some of our orange if we lose too much of the orange. We'll have to decide that before we put our other colors on here though. I think I'm going to rinse this brush because I want to put some other color on here. So that was basically 2 layers of yellow. We will get that a little bit brighter, but I want to put, like I put blue down here and I put purple down here. I'm going to try the fuchsia up there and see if it even shows up. If not, we'll go with a different color up there, maybe purple. But I want to try the fuchsia pop here. All right, we're trying the fuchsia here. Definitely going to be a multiple step thing here, I think. But I think the fuchsia is going to look super cute on this one. Because fuchsia is pretty transparent, so we'll definitely want to apply it multiple times. And it might be more than 3 times that we have to apply it. I don't know. But we do want to get some of that pink in there. I tried it with a white and it was just too chalky. Way too chalky. So let me dry this. I just want to keep building on that until my pink really pops. So, you know, this pink might take a minute. It might take a minute to pop on here. We're starting to see some of it on there. I think when we add our highlights, it's really going to show up well. You know, that adding some white to it really tones it down. It makes it too milky, too. I added a little tiny bit of almondine in there. I'm going to see if that will, how that will work. Let me dry this. This might be the way that we need to go here. Just lightly. We'll come back and do some of my shading on here, I think. So maybe do that again. It's got that almondine mixed in with it. That's going to look the best. I really wanted to bring some of that pink up in here. You can put some up on the stem as well if you want to. A little kiss of it up there. Alright, let's get our highlights on here and then see if we need to brighten that pink a little bit. So that was my fuchsia pop with a, you know, a little touch of almondine in there. Alright, let's add some highlights. Okay, I'm going to take my white and my filbert brush and remove what I can here. And I just want to brighten up some of these areas where we put some highlight. This is just tickling over these areas. Can even go into our pink a little bit and might brighten that pink a little. I'm not sure if it will or not, but you know, give it a shot. Okay, so now I feel like some of my shadows have disappeared. So I'm just gonna very loosely go over those shadows. Just to bring them back a little forward. And then we'll do our bright white highlights. On the mouth, I think the mouth I'm going to do the same that I did up here. And that was a mix of our base orange and some brown. I believe is what I mixed. Not 100% sure. No, that's not what I mixed. I think I added yellow in there. Let me see if this is right. It's very transparent. I think this is my base color in cadmium yellow, I believe. Okay, it definitely needs to be brighter down there. Okay, the eye. The eye is just a little circle. And if you want to use a dotting tool to put a circle in, that's fine. I do want to try and keep them the same size if I can. And I'm going to take some of this white and start highlighting. Actually, I think I'll add a little yellow to it for my first highlight. So a mix of yellow and white. A mix of yellow and white. Get you down on the camera shot. Gotta yell at me when I do that. What are you doing? We can't see you. I have to paint that one in again before I can add that. And the eye dots look a little big, so I think I'm going to reduce those just a little bit. Okay, I feel like this pumpkin needs more color. So I'm going to take that green and put a little bit up there. I'm going to add some almondine to it to just tone it just a little bit. I don't want to put too much in there. I mean, just a little touch, just to slightly tone this green so it's not quite so bright, because it's a pretty bright green. And I think we're gonna put some green in here. I feel like it needs something else. I don't know if I'm gonna like this green or not. I feel like this guy's getting a little too patchy. I might have to come back in with my base color and cover some of this up. Because I really like the green. I'm going to take some of the pink down. By just painting some of the base color over it and blending a little bit. Get some of that orange back in here. I might just completely cover up that pink because it would have been cuter on, you know, a lighter pumpkin. I think on this pumpkin it's a little bit too this green looks too dark. I took my baby wipe and removed a lot of that green off of there. I think it looks better now. I still have some pink on there. I did, you know, wash a little bit of my orange back in there, but it's just got a few touches of that green now. So we just want to do a light layer of that green. Let's finish out our eyes. I want to dry brush in this section. Here. Okay, and then we'll just create some of our brighter highlights with the white. Just a little kiss. Kissy, kissy, kiss. I mean, this is teeny tiny little sections that I'm putting on here. Small, small. Okay, I'll go back and do a little bit more under the eyes here. This is just a dry brush. Okay. I think we'll call that cute little guy done. Super cute. I'm going to zoom out so you can see all three of them. Oh, aren't they so cute? Okay, yeah, I like that little kiss of green now that I removed. Just do one layer. Just one layer. Don't repeat that one. And then the pink is not so much because I took and made them smaller with a little bit of the base color of the orange. Again, you can bring your base color of that bright orange in here, and any place you feel like you've just completely lost your orange, just kind of wash some in there. Alrighty, they look so adorable. I absolutely love these little guys or gals, whatever they are. Okay, we're gonna get our leaves done next. So for our leaves, we want to create some brightness with them as well. So you want to have all of your colors, the brighter colors that we use, like your purple and your blue, your yellow, your fuchsia, your bright green. We want all those colors to come into our leaves. And we're just going to do that by placing color in wherever we want on our leaves and just having fun with them. So down here on this one, I'm going to add some green out on here. And most of my colors are kind of transparent. And you see I'm just very messily putting it on there. I'm not trying to be super neat about this, so I'll go to this one, and maybe it's green up here on this edge. Who knows? You know, it's your leaf. You just do them up the way you want to do them. Maybe that one doesn't have any green on it, so we'll just skip that one. Let's put a little on the top up here. Maybe come down through the center with this one a little bit. This is just really messy putting it on here. I'm side loaded for a float, but yet I'm gonna be a little careful right there. Yet I'm just kind of tapping it in there, okay? And then let's put a little bit right here. Okay, that one can be without green on it as well. So that's our first color we're putting on our leaves. And now we're just going to go through our other colors. We're going to do the fuchsia pop, the purple, the turquoise, and the base orange that we did here. I think all of those colors will be gorgeous on these leaves. If you just want to make your leaves orange and green, you can do that too. So they are your leaves. I say whatever makes you happy, you just do it. But I still wanted these leaves to be as playful as our pumpkins are. So let's get to it and add color on here. These colors will have to be added more than once. We want some to be a little darker. Now this blue I'm getting ready to put on, this turquoise color, it may not need to be added more than once. So yeah, it will, because we're going over yellow and it's giving it kind of a green tint, and we don't necessarily want a green tint. And we do want to have some bright yellow on this stuff as well. So you don't have to do every color on every leaf, so just be aware of that, okay? Alright, so there I did blue on just a few of them. Okay, I might bring some of this blue into this one a little bit. We can leave some spaces. It doesn't have to be all connected. So don't feel like you have to connect all of your colors on here. Okay, let's go with, let's do some tiger lily. This was our base color for our pumpkin up here. Just a little bit, kiss it in. Just tap it, tap it, tap it. Be messy. Okay, I'm not going to put orange right now on any of the other ones. I may want to go up there and put some orange, but we'll see. I'm going to go into some purple. Let's see how well this is going to show up on this yellow. It's not too bad. So we'll do some purple on a couple of them. I don't want it to blend in with the background, so be a little careful there. Yeah, I think I'll just do 2 with purple. Okay, let's do some fuchsia pop. And this one's going to be fun. All these colors will have to be repeated because all of them except for the turquoise is pretty transparent. Let's put some pink on this one. Fun, fun, fun. And when we put our second layer on, we're going to be just as messy as the first layer, you guys. This is going to come together so amazingly. All right, I'm going into that bright yellow. I think it's the last of my bright colors. So I'm going to go around and put this probably on all of them. This one needs a third color on it, I think. So I might add some turquoise onto that one. So I'm just putting the yellow, covering up what's left of the yellow with this bright yellow. We don't want any muted colors on these leaves, so we want to get that underpainting of yellow that we did, that moon yellow, completely covered up. Okay, let me add some turquoise to this one. I think that one needs another color. I think I put turquoise on it, but I can't see it. Well, let's put a little turquoise here. Not too much because it's next to a turquoise one. And I thought I put some turquoise on this one, but maybe not. We'll put some on it. Okay. Okay, this one, trying to decide if I want to add some orange to that one or not, or if I want to add maybe more green to it. It's got a lot of yellow going on there. Let's just add a bit more green. Okay, so that's our first layer. Even with that layer, those are looking amazing. But trust me, when you put your second layer on there, these are going to pop so much. The purple is the only color I'm worried about that might require maybe a third coat. But I think they're going to look awesome. So let's get our second layers on. If we need a third, we'll put that on. I'm just going to go off camera and do that because you're going to do it exactly the same way that you just put your first layers on. Messily on top of the color that you already did with the same color, and just be messy and bring it into the leaf. When we add the details, oh, they're going to be amazing. Okay, you guys, look at that. It is so stinking cute. I love the bright colors popping off of this. Oh my gosh, it is so adorable. All right, so I'm going to put some fresh cad yellow and fresh white out. We're going to finish our leaves. Fresh white. We're going to just mix these equally, and we're going to outline our leaves and create our veins, and then we will use some different colors to make the stems. Actually, I'm going to do 2 white, maybe 3 white. 3 white and 1 yellow. I'm going to add a little water to that, get it a little fluid consistency. And we're just going to outline our leaves. Make them as simple or as fancy as you want. Use your favorite detail brush. Okay, I think I might have to do a little shading on some of these that are behind. Now we'll just put a few veins in there. You don't have to be right on that line. You can come off of it a little bit. How fun are these? Oh my gosh. So fun. All right, we're going to create a stem with a different color, so oh my gosh, that just makes them pop so much. Incredible. Wild hair there, see if I can get that under control. Yep, I didn't even think about shading on these. So I will have to do a little bit at the base of each one. I think that will help a lot. But we'll go ahead and get our veins in here because that's not going to matter. Super fun. All right, it's 3 whites and 1 yellow. Just making a very pale yellow here. Got that wild hair again. This is a good way to be able to clean up your edges as well. Okay, I kind of wanted this one to curl this way. Oh my gosh, those are so fun. One more, then we'll shade on these. Make sure I put that instruction on. Oop. Got a little wobbly there. Super cute. OMG. So cute. Now see how those leaves, once you add the details on there, how they just kind of pop right off of there. It's so amazing, so amazing. All right, I'm going to take some Payne's Gray because it's a transparent color, and see how this works for a shading color. Maybe mix a tiny bit of that festive green in there, and see if I even want to do this. I might want to just leave them all that vibrant, bright color. This is just a darker green here. So especially the ones that go behind, they need to have a little bit of shadow. I mean, this is a very small amount of paint, very transparent on my brush. Payne's Gray and the festive green are both transparent colors. So I'm going to scoot my palette over here. You see how sheer that is on my palette? It's so sheer. So sheer, you guys. Alright, where am I? Over here. Okay, I think I'm just going to do those ones that are kind of tucked behind. And I'm not going to do any more. I think they're the only ones that really need some shading. I like the brightness on the other ones a lot. So, but I am going to do this twice with that sheer color. And I think that's going to help those a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. That looks great. All right, let's add our stems on here. Our stems, I want them to be, let's see. Stems. I put festive green and cinnamon, but I don't know. Let me mix those two together and see what I get. It's going to be a dirty green color. I don't know if I want a dirty green color. I might want a dirty yellow color. Stems are generally a different color anyway. So it looks like I got an equal mix of cinnamon and festive green, which makes this dark kind of olivey green. So we'll just put a little stem on there. And then we'll have to shade underneath these stems. We're only doing these on the ones that are on top. We can bring that green a little bit into the leaf. This is an equal mix of festive green and light cinnamon. Okay, it's only those three that are on top. So I'm just going to wipe my brush out and grab some almondine on my brush. And I'm going to highlight those just a little bit. Okay, and then we'll just shade underneath them with our respective shading colors. So, and grab your small angle brush. They're actually all on top of this blue one, so we only have to shade on this one. For our blue one, let me go back and look and see what I wrote down. Shade, 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 turquoise, and then turquoise and Payne's gray. So we're just going to go with the Payne's gray and the turquoise. And make this dark blue. And we'll just put a little shading under here. A little bit under here. I had to shade, oh, I did shade around that one. And I did shade around here too, but I don't know that we'll see this shadow here because we got to put our grasses on there, and that might cover that up completely. Okay, just a little shadow underneath those leaves. Like I said, this one down here we may not see at all, and they're all on that same one, so we only have to do it on that color. Okay, that was the mix of Payne's gray and turquoise. Okay, so now we're ready to add our grasses on here. So you want to add your line drawing if you want to. You don't have to add a line drawing. I mean, you can just come in here and draw some grasses. We want some of them to come up over our pumpkin. Just, you know, kind of like that. Nothing fancy. Okay, even the lines on my line drawing are not fancy. So we just want the look of some grasses in here, and so let's get ready to paint those. Okay, we are going to bring in a color we haven't used. I just think it will hopefully get me the base for this grass that I want. We'll see. This is Hauser Dark Green, and I'm just going to come in here with my chisel brush and create some, not my chisel brush, this is my angle brush. And just put in some of this darker color in here. It's kind of going uphill there. Okay, I just want to bring it down and let it kind of just, you know, do whatever. It doesn't have to be anything spooktacular. Let me put some in here. I feel like we need some taller stuff going in here. Okay, you can go back over this. You know, it might require a couple of coats in order to get things to pop when we put it on top of it. Okay, just a little playfulness down here. Okay, I don't really want to see a lot of that purple background underneath this pumpkin here. You know, grass is optional. If you so choose not to put it in, that is completely fine. But we do, if we're, you know, if you're going to paint it, we don't want to see any of that purple that's underneath the pumpkin. I mean, you can always come back and shade that real quick before you add your next layer on. So we got to get that layer dry. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is just way cuter than I had in my head. Okay, my grass is dry here, so I'm going to switch over to a round brush here. You don't have to switch over to a round brush. I just want to have a little bit more control over what I put in here. So I'm going to mix my festive green and the color that we put down here. And let's do 3 festive greens and 1 Hauser dark green. and see if this is even going to show up. I might just have to go straight festive green. I really didn't think festive green would show up on here. So we're going to add some, because it's more of a transparent color, so I needed something in it to kind of, and we're just kind of going over and creating some grasses in here. This is just our first layer of grass stuff looking in here. This is 3 festive greens to 1 Hauser dark green. Okay. That looks pretty good. So we've definitely got 2 colors coming on there. I'm going to rinse my brush because we're going to go to a lighter green to put on top of this one. I'm going to take my festive green and mix some cadmium yellow in with it. I'm going to do kind of a bright green here, so 2 yellow and 1 green. Keep this kind of a little bit more at the tops of the grasses. Just barely letting the brush kind of skim over. Keep the tip of your brush loaded, and you're just barely letting the tip of that brush hit those grasses. Okay, I'm going to add more yellow now, and we'll do one more little layer on here. Maybe keep this one a little bit lower. So I just added one more yellow into the mix, get a little bit brighter. Bring a little bit of this up on top of some of these. Okay, that looks pretty good. We do want to shade at the bottom of those grasses, so you don't have to do as much grass as I just did right there. You can do just a little clump here, a little clump here, a little clump here, maybe 5 little clumps. It doesn't have to be a whole row of grasses like I just did. But I thought this one would be fun and playful. So we're going to shade at the bottom of our grass with a mix of Hauser dark green and Payne's gray. Okay? And then we'll probably shade out here on the purple with maybe just Payne's gray. I think adding the green would be a little bit too much. So let me get this dry so we can shade the bottom of this. Okay. I just can't seem to stop. I decided to add just a few in here with some yellow and white. Just a few. Just a few. Don't do too many. Don't do too many. Okay, we are coming to the end of this project pretty soon. So we're going to take that Payne's gray and Hauser dark green. The Payne's gray is just going to really darken up that green a little bit, and we'll just do a soft little float along the bottom to really set those grasses. Okay, then we want to do, I'm just going to wipe my brush off and get just Payne's gray. I think I need new fresh Payne's gray out here. And see how this looks. I might want to add some of that green in there. Yeah, let's just do the same color we did up there. And then we're just going to come along underneath. This is the Payne's gray and Hauser dark green mix. Just creating a little bit of shadow underneath our, or I'm at least trying to create a little bit of a shadow under there. It's not really working out. Okay, that's good enough. That's gonna finish our grasses. Let's wide angle out, because wide angling out always seems to give us some perspective. So, oh, so cute. So cute. All right, we're gonna do our ghosts next. They're gonna be pretty easy to do. And then once I get it done, I have to decide if I wanna shade around the entire surface or just leave it. At this point, I'm thinking just leave it. But, you know, I just always have to be wild and crazy, it seems like. All right, let's get our white out as soon as I find it. Okay, I got 3 coats of white on here. I transferred back on my lines, but I erased them back to where I can just barely see those lines. Okay, I think we're gonna go with some Payne's Gray on these ghosts. And of course the eyes and the mouth will be that mix of Payne's Gray and Lamp Black. So you can have a little bit of both of those colors out. It is not going to take a whole lot to finish these ghosts up, okay? So I'm just going to use a chisel blender because I was having such a hard time with my angle brush. Let me zoom you in here. And we're going to start working on these little ghosts. Now, I want to use Payne's Gray because it's transparent, so I'm going to work it into my brush to where it's very, very sheer. And we'll just go along each one of these lines. Oh, you'd probably like to be on camera, wouldn't you? That's what happens when I zoom in. Okay, it's just going to be a light coloring here. So I think I'll start on this side. And then this one here is wrong. This line is wrong. Let's see if I can erase that off of there. And that looks pretty funny because I know there was an extra line in there somewhere, but we are going to go with it. And, you know, once you paint over your lines, they're in there, so just be aware of that. Let's go around the hand. And then we've got a couple of folds here. This is the darkest area. It's down in here. Kind of the shadowy areas, and then we'll look at my line drawing. I'll come off of those areas. With all of our little wrinkles in here. Not sure I got them all in the right places, but we're gonna go with it. We just need it to be soft and light and a little bit darker down in here. Okay, maybe not quite that dark. Okay. Too much water in my brush now. Okay, right through here I'm going to have to add some white back in. Break that up a little bit. Okay. Touch up over here a little bit. Got some blue where I didn't want it. Okay. Actually, I could have left the white on that brush, but we're going to go with our Payne's Gray and black mix. And put our eyes in. Now I've got a wild hair on my round brush. Try not to let your facial features grow too much. That one, the mouth and the eyes are supposed to be the same shape. I'm going to have to touch up because of that wild hair. And then over here, he's just got a couple of circles for eyes. And then a mouth, smiley mouth. He's a happy ghost. You could give them both the same facial features if you so choose. I'm just going to give them a quick second coat. You can put their facial features in with a marker as well if you want to. Let me touch up the white around this one. I want the eyes to look around, so okay. That's not what I was shooting for. A cute little mouth. And then we got to have some like little swooshing lines on here. And I'm going to paint these in with some white, and then I think I might float next to them. I can see where they're all at. Swoosh! This one only had a couple on the line drawing, but I don't know, I think I might add one down here. Do a little swoosh down there. This is just with white, so you know you'll have to go back over it. White just never stands on top like it should. Especially when you have to thin it with a little bit of water, it makes it a little more transparent. So let me wide angle out and see if I want to even add those in there. No, I think that looks pretty good. Pretty darn good. So, wide angle out a little bit more. This particular piece, you have some options. I happen to like it just the way it is. You can shade around the entire background with Payne's Gray. And that's something I normally do on bigger pieces, but I don't think I want to do that on here. Okay, you can also shade around all of your elements with Payne's Gray, the pumpkins and the ghosts, but I think they're pretty forward and I like it. I think it turned out incredibly cute, you guys. One of my favorite fall designs I've done for a while. Actually, I haven't done a fall design for a while, so it's been, you know, it's been nice painting up a fun little fall design. I really had no idea where this one was going at all. So I'm glad that it came together and it looks pretty darn cute, I have to say. So that is it for this project, you guys. I hope you have enjoyed this one. It has been a blast for me to paint. So much fun, so cute, so bright. Let's see, what have I titled it? I've titled it Spooky Season. Super, super cute, you guys. I hope that you enjoy it. Please like and please comment. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.